Over the past few years, Mexico's president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has greatly expanded the role of the country's armed forces. From building airports, hospitals, and railways to securing borders, Mexico's military has been handed control over dozens of public works that were previously managed by civilian agencies.
Never in the contemporary history of Mexico has the military had access to this amount of resources and civil functions.
Most recently, Mexico's armed forces were assigned to monitor air traffic and even given control of an airline. And now, with violence and forced disappearances in the country at record highs, Mexico's armed forces are taking a leading role in policing the country. While many criticize growing militarization in Mexico, President López Obrador insists the armed forces are the only ones capable of curbing violence. It's the same attitude Mexican presidents have held since the start of the so-called war on drugs in 2006. But human rights advocates say the pace of militarization under the current government has grown exponentially.
We've been a military state for a long time. I think we're entering a more dangerous route, which is militarism. Militarism is the next phase. It implies that it's not only security issues that are being handed over to the military, but that they are being given political control, allowed to be fundamental actors in the day-to-day government decisions, and the most dangerous thing is the political participation they could eventually be given.
Many security experts say that after a decade and a half of boosting military spending to curb violence in Mexico, the effect has been the opposite, arguing that more military has instead led to more abuse, citing deadly incidents like the recent killing of 5 unarmed civilians in Nuevo Laredo at the hands of security forces on February 26th. It's an assertion that President López Obrador emphatically denies.
Contrary to how things used to be, there are no human rights abuses. The police and military corporations do not torture or massacre, nor do they forcibly disappear people.
President López Obrador is often criticized for having an autocratic streak. His recent electoral reform is seen by many as an attack on democratic institutionality. But it's the president's affinity for the military that's raising the most concerns over the future democratic stability of the country. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.